welcome to the Spiritual Counseling TV network, and welcome to the weekly spiritual guidance for this week of May 9th to the 16th of 2022. My name is Christy Ramirez and I'm your soul coach, and we're going to go deep into today's message for this week. Remember that this is just a small intro for the extended live stream that I do on my Instagram after I finish filming this later this evening. So today we are on Tuesday. I know that we're a day late, but there is a divine reason for this, because not only was yesterday my self-care day that was so needed, but I really didn't even feel like speaking, to be honest. Wasn't really feeling social at all. And what really helped me to ground myself and also receive extra messages, I got bombarded with messages from God yesterday, was just going within, taking care of my body, health and wellness. I was actually exercising, and I expected to only exercise for like about 30 minutes, and I decided, I do put a timer, but I was so just like into myself, out of like the world, you can say, like, how do you say that? I was just out of in the clouds, you can say. And by the time I finished my workout, I happened to look at the clock and it was 90 minutes. And that just told me that I really needed that time to myself yesterday. And of course, then I did some yoga just to kind of like relax and wind down. But that was a huge sign to me that, you know, I did just come off a break of like exercising as well. So that also was another thing that I was really wanting to just, you know, sweat it out or just like get it out. It's very cathartic for me. And during that time, which was silent again, I was listening to music, but again, music just acts like a trance, right? When you're like working out or like doing yoga. And I kept getting a lot of messages from God yesterday. It was like overwhelming almost. I wanted to write it down, but it would have interrupted what I was doing. But I do remember a lot of what God is trying to tell us today. And this is not to scare us, but is only to warn us and only to help us to stay hyper vigilant and aware when we are out in the world. Because, you know, being that we're in such sensitive times, even since 2020, I feel like 2 years later that we're here in 2022, there's a lot that's happened, right? And there's a lot of darkness that's also happened, right? A lot of this all has been dark. It's not been light, right? And where I'm getting at is that, you know, how do I put this into words that is not going to sound like just, you know, like going to scare people? But the truth is that, you know, when you're out in the world, you really need to be careful, because energies are invisible, right? And they act through people. And this is something that is the spiritual battle going on. This is out of our hands. This is God fighting these battles, Archangel Michael in the angelic realms fighting these other spirits that are not of light, right? And the reason, again, also why many light workers who are still in the light, because again, this is also affected even light workers who have not perhaps been so like to themselves, you can say, and people who have just spread their energy too thin. This is why when you do spiritual work, it's so important to be so aware and cautious of where you put your energy, even as our mission work, right? So is why all my content, for example, is not exclusive. I mean, it's not free, right? Obviously, because if I were just to give everything free, my programs, my school, that's just giving away my light energy, right? I don't spend time in just any place in the world. Even in communities, I'm so hyper aware. Like for the current moment, ever since 2020, God has guided me to just stick to myself, not even communities, because no community outside right at this moment who is still running and functioning is not 100% light. And for a lot of light workers who are very sensitive, which are every light worker is a sensitive being, because that's the whole purpose of them being a light worker. You need to be sensitive to receive these divine energies, but also to be very intuitive and, you know, be very, you know, drawn towards the spiritual as well, which happens to mostly sensitive people. And being that, you know, people who spend a lot of time outdoors and are not very holy people, you can say, unless you have like an office or your other sacred space, that's an exception. But I'm just talking about people who, you know, go out all the time, especially still party during these times. That's when you know that people have not grown, right? Because the whole point of this trauma and tragedy that's happened since 2020 is to help people to grow out of these bad, hedonistic, greedy behaviors that have been taking over. These are the major 7 sins that are playing out full force, right? And at the top of that pyramid is the lustful sin. And trust me that there's a lot of these, you know, let me educate you a little bit, but when there's like individuals and spirits, I don't want to say people, because these people are being taken over by these spirits. There's this spirit called succubus energy that seduces through sexual energy, right? Even if they don't know you, or maybe if they do. But that's to take away your chi energy. It's like a vampire energy, like effect, right? And we all see this obviously in mainstream, which is very common in that everything is sexualized, right? This is one form of the dark forces playing out. That's one form. And that's something that's so common that is easy to believe, right? But there are other subtle ways as well that is not so easy to believe, because it's not so simple to understand, but also visible to see with the naked eye, right? Only those who are functioning through the spiritual realm, who see clearly through the spiritual eye, can see clearly people for who they are and through what spirit they're being possessed as well. Because it might not be them consciously even acting out. And that's also the sad part, is that so many people are asleep. And that's not the problem. Or should I say, that is the problem. It's not the people that is the problem. The problem is that a lot of the people are asleep. If they were awake, like myself and like other light workers, fulfilling out their duty on the mission, not talking about the light workers who are sitting back and watching the show, because this is God's show playing out. But in God's show, guess what? He has an army running the show. I'm part of the show, as others are part of the show, who are choosing to accept their role and still show up no matter what. But there are others who either just have like chosen to like wash their hands of like this mission, choosing to ignore the calling, and are just not doing anything but enjoying their life. And they think that that's the purpose to this life. And it really does get me upset, to be honest. You know, I get upset for God, because it's so sad. And the thing is that, you know, sometimes it happens even in the closer people around you that may not even know what's happening. And the issue is that you can't even do anything about it either, because not only would that be forcing the spiritual journey, but it's not really our place to be the judge per se, right? It's God's place. But it is our place to talk about it and educate about what we are seeing, right? About this human behavior that even more than half the collective is acting so out of alignment. And this is maybe not even every human's fault, you can say, because I know that spiritually, you know, there are a lot of dark forces also, you know, entering into the earthly realm. You can say it's from outer space, or you can say it's from the spirit world, from wherever it is. It is true, and I do feel it, right? Because that's another reason why us light workers have been more shielded, even more lately than ever. You know, I've been wanting to go out, you know, and as much as I want to go out and go about my regular life as I used to before the journey, God just won't let me. There's like always divine intervention. And God just offers me a better way to just continue to do what I love to do. But it's not in the way that I expect it. And a lot of the times also it is alone. And God has showed me that that's sometimes the best way, because, for example, yesterday I exercise in my garage gym. I have a home gym. And I do better when I exercise by myself, because things like this happen, right? God talks to me during my sessions, because that's the only time when I'm actually very, you know, just centered and silent, as well as when I'm doing chores. You know, I get a lot of messages during that time, because I just meditate through everything that I do, right? The only time that I'm really actually talking is when I'm on camera or just talking to other people. And yeah, so I think that this is a moment of true surrender. It's a moment of letting go of any fear, resistance, and wanting things to go our way in particular, because it's not gonna go our way. You know, I can have like the perfect plan and the way that I expect things to go, and it might go a certain way that way, but not in the way that I expect it. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's even better, and it's always better, right? Because like I said, we've been experiencing some tower moments, and all these tower moments has only helped us to build something better, a foundation that's also stronger. And this is what's happening now at a more long-term level, because I feel like last week we did experience these tower moments that I mentioned, and that was a glimpse of some short-term glory and victory that we're going to be experiencing in the long term as light workers, staying committed, staying resilient, and staying focused, staying on track, staying committed, like I said, and conquering these fears. We need to have our sword and our shield every day that we wake up, because I feel the battle starts from the very moment that we wake up. There is a struggle to get up in the mornings, I'm feeling. And this is metaphoric, although it is literal for me too. I've been having a lot of trouble getting up in the morning, and this has been going on already for like a year, and this is not normal stuff. And I know that this is spiritual because obviously I'm on the spiritual journey, right? And I'm very sensitive, and I am super isolated, so I feel everything that much stronger. And it's so that I can talk about it and metaphorize it, you can say, like see it from also a metaphoric standpoint, whatever it is that I'm feeling or experiencing in my environment, you can say. And I do feel that light workers, and even just the light per se, which includes God's truth, is receiving a lot of backlash, a lot of controversy, a lot of disagreement, and a lot of even like blockages. Like people are putting walls up to hearing the truth. People are in denial, and what's even worse than denial is just not wanting to hear it at all, which is called ignorance. And a lot of people are just wanting to live in ignorance, and they're not doing anything. And I just don't know how that serves the mission per se, right? And that's and I did say that, you know, so even yesterday, for example, or Sunday, that was Mother's Day, some people's mission on this earth is just to be a parent. The Disney bundle is my one-stop shop. All right, so Sunday was Mother's Day, and I did say that some people's mission on this planet is specifically to just be a parent, right? Just like Mother Mary, just like Joseph, they were parents, and that was their mission. And that is an exception to the rule, right? For those who actually have children, especially if they're little, that's why perhaps, you know, you're even being shielded in a different way, which means going back to your childhood, to your inner child as well, and just having fun with life, right? And then that's again that's the mission of those people. But then there's others who are just completely oblivious to just what's going on spiritually, right? And these are the people that are falling for the political traps, the talks on the media of the scares that's going on, and that's all what they talk about, right? And that doesn't raise anyone's vibration. That's not living high vibrationally, right? High vibe. High vibe, it is about the truth, but it is also about, you know, protecting your peace, I believe, and of course seeing the truth. So again, that means reading between the lines, hearing between the lines, and then also teaching and educating the collective about it, letting other people be aware of what the truth is. And then again, that brings me to the other sad truth, is that there is a lot of censorship happening on social medias, and I've been witnessing this on other people's platforms, not on mine per se, because I don't really bring in these political topics for that reason. But that just comes to show you, you know, that a lot of people are being shut up, and this is the light being shut up, and that's not okay. That's not right. And I think that more people need to wake up and start doing something about it, start speaking up, and this is what's going to bring about change, right? And you know, this is also something that has been going on for many years in history, right? I actually last night finished watching the extra documentary on Marilyn Monroe. There were the lost tapes about her. on Netflix. It was a movie that they made, and it just revealed the truth about what really happened to her life. And she actually, I mean, I don't want to go into that, right? But watch it. It's a good movie. But that just comes to show you that these controversies and, you know, hidden secret agendas is something that's not new, right? And so the point that I'm getting for today's weekly spiritual guidance, God is saying, is that we need to just be aware and vigilant with where you're putting your energy, where you're spending your time, and what you're doing with your time as well. Do whatever it is that you can to contribute to this planet, to humanity, to others, to being in the light and showing more love in any way that you can. And that's as simple as helping. Find your true calling and go on that path. If you have career choices to choose from, choose the one that's more spiritual. Don't choose the one that is egotistical. Don't choose the one that is only based on the outside or what others might say, right? That is superficial, and that's not going to bring you to the heaven, basically, to the kingdom of heaven, right? And we want to make sure that everything that we do on this planet is in alignment with what's going to take us to the kingdom of heaven, which is upstairs after death. Remember that this life is but a test, and it's a rehearsal for what's the real thing. This is all an illusion. It's a matrix that we're living in. And that's the other sad truth when people don't see it. And they just think that this is all there is. And they hyper-focus and get overly worried and anxious about what's happening in the physical world, including money issues, right? People who are really spiritual actually will not be afraid to spend money, believe it or not. Because they know that not only will it be returned to them, right? If you're being on mission and you're doing the work, you're going to receive abundance. But also, money is energy. And it's not to be hoarded on. And it's not to be spent on things that are not mission related, right? It is to better our life, to do the mission better in whatever way God is guiding you to do. Better your homes, better your family, the way that you eat even, right? Your health and your wellness. Those are ways to positively use money. Tools to use for whatever it is that your mission is, right? Not just self-serving to just put on just a new outfit if like that's just all you want to get recognition from people. But if you're doing it, like let's say you're a public figure or being on camera all the time, that's a different story, right? Because you're actually doing it for entertainment purposes, right? But again, use your logic, use your discernment and your intuition, and God will tell you when it is right, when it is wrong, when you deserve it and when you don't, and what are the true intentions behind it. Are they truly pure or are they narcissistic? You know, this is a lot of that is also hidden. That is going to come to the light. People's true colors, the way that people really are inside, because believe me, that in the physical world, people really mask what they are inside. And unless you're like me that see people for they really are, and you're a good psychologist, you know, this is why I've always been a great psychologist. Because I am what they call a projector. This is a characteristic, personality characteristic type, in that this is why people feel so comfortable opening up to me. Why I'm such a great counselor, because my clients would just always feel comfortable telling me everything, including truths that they didn't want to reveal, because they felt safe with me. And that's the thing about me. I am very confidential when it comes to secrets and all, right? And I can definitely be a great counselor because of that. And it just surprised me, you know, there's a lot of deep truths that people don't really reveal, but it's really driving their behaviors deep down. And of course, you know, also as a projector, I also just naturally, just by being myself and my presence, project onto others what they don't like about themselves. And it projects to them. And sometimes is why people don't like me, or people envy me, or just people give me bad looks, because not because I'm a bad person, because obviously I'm a pure person and I only have pure intentions my whole life since I was a little girl. I'm being my own mother here. But if anybody, you know, has ever been given like me bad looks or just hated me out of nowhere, it was their own issues that was being projected onto them. And believe me, that's been my life story, which is a little bit sad, right? Because is why I don't have many friends at all. Because of this reason, I just project to them what's really going on within. And a lot of times when people have issues that they don't want to confront, that's when they become in denial. And then that's again when they hate the truth. And whoever is reflecting that truth to them, which can be a counselor, sometimes can be a parent, sometimes can be their partner, sometimes can be a projector like me, right? And that's sad, because I feel like that's also what's being revealed for people to heal and really take a close look at, and not take it like, you know, as if something's wrong with them, because everybody has issues. And this is another reason why I'm actually going to be launching a new program very soon, which is called A New You. It's a 10-week soul coaching program. And this has been a program that has been in work for 3 years already. I've taught that program 3 times, or should I say 2 times, and 1 time in Spanish. So 3 times basically. And I'm going to reteach it one final time as like the final, with like a new camera and everything. 4K, and it's going to be absolutely marvelous. And I'm going to be putting that on sale very soon. And that's going to be the program of the year. The program that is going to be something that I've been working on for a long time, is unique to me, and it's not going to change in even the PowerPoints that I've made. It's just this teaching aspect that I'm going to just teach differently. So stay on the lookout for that. Also, my 2022 The Resurrection presentation provided by the Lightwork University will also be launching, or should I say will also be presented soon, within this week or this weekend, at the latest next week. You know, there's been a lot of going on. Me personally, again, fixing and renovating my home as well has taken a lot of my energy. So I've been kind of recovering energetically, you can say. I've been feeling so exhausted yesterday and even this weekend, and a little bit energetically drained. And I do feel like this collective energy, this is what the dark does. It drains and sucks away your light energy. So again, make sure that where you're spending your energy is spending it wisely. And if you can't find any people that are on that same high light vibration, then spend your time alone. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually how us projectors as well, if any of you find yourself being also a projector, we actually need a lot of time to recover alone. Because, and even like sleeping alone if you're like in a relationship, because again, because we give off so much energy and we reflect so much energy, this does take away our energy. I don't know why exactly, but that's why we need to recharge, because we are sensitive, empathic beings basically. And that's why if you feel like lately you've been needing more time to yourself, you've been feeling more exhausted than usual, this is normal. And this is something that is collectively happening as well in the spiritual battles that are being fought by our angels. And of course, we're going to go deeper into these cards in the dailies and in the extended weekly spiritual guidance. But again, stay positive this week. That's what's going to keep you going. Stay focused on your hobbies, on your passions, on your mission. And that's what's going to keep you sane. Immerse yourself and get into your creative arts. Stay creative. Stay on your hands, you can say. Arts and crafts are what's going to keep you high vibrational. So that's my message for all of you this week. Thank you all for watching this video. And of course, if you want more exclusive content that is educational for your spiritual journey and also psychologically for your mental health and even emotional health, check out my Spiritual Counseling TV Network membership program at christianramirez.com/TV. Have an amazing and beautiful week, everyone, and I'll see you all for the dailies. Namaste.